This video is brought to you by YTAndrewPaul Tech Repairs. If you have a console, laptop, computer or Macbook in need of repair in the UK or the EU, then have a look in the description below this video for details on how to contact us in order to organise your repair. Right, hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to today's video. And today we're going to be taking a look at this BDP-025 Blu-ray drive logic board from a CUH-1116A PAL-spec PS4, and this one today has come in because the disk drive simply isn't working. It appears to be dead with absolutely no power. So I've plugged this machine into the mains and we've fired it up, and sure enough the drive appears completely dead. The eject button doesn't offer any response, offering a disk up offers absolutely no response, and the thing just doesn't seem to be working. So it was sent up, and I think at some point this has been working, but it wasn't working as it should. So in the end, from what the user described, we said we may have had to ended up doing a Renesas swap on here, but as with all good things, it's always pays to make sure that the problem isn't lying somewhere else. Now, on this particular console, the laser ribbon connector on the main board of the PS4 is knackered. It's not particularly great. It doesn't feel as though it accepts the cable in one end very well. So maybe that's the issue, or maybe that's a big part of the issue that we're facing here. But I digress. So anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that this board is in fine working condition before we start. So what I don't want to be doing is focusing my attention on finding an issue with the logic board when the issue may be that motherboard connector all along. So yes, so that's what we're going to do. Now if it is the motherboard connector, that's going to be fun, because that is a pain in the arse to replace. But you know what we're going to do is we're going to see if we have any problems. So we've put our multimeter into continuity mode, and continuity mode is the mode that beeps when you touch the two probes together, and hopefully you can hear this. So this is a new headset I'm using today. No idea, hopefully the sound quality is going to be alright, but anyway, I digress. So let's go and check the fuses. So on the BDP-025 there are 4 main fuses which protect the drive board. So if any of these fuses are out, you can end up with all sorts of weird and wonderful issues. So the first one we're going to check is just down from the main laser ribbon connector. So that's the biggest connector you see. It's more or less in the middle of the board. So there's the board designation. It's BDP-025. And if we go across to the laser ribbon connector and down, you will see there we have a board designation there for F501 with an arrow pointing to this little looks like a 0 ohm resistor straight across there, which acts as a fuse. So let's go and put one probe of our multimeter onto here and the other probe to the other side, and we should get a beep. I don't hear any beeping. So 501 looks like it's buggered. Okay, that's something to go off. So 202 down here. F201 then. So F201 is this one, blue one here, this R27C. So again, one probe on one probe on the other side. A beep on 1.6 ohms and dropping, so that's absolutely fine. Next one, F202, just here, this little N-marked component. As you can see here, absolutely no beep whatsoever, so that is knackered and is going to need replacing. And F203, our old friend, this one usually gets toasted, so I'll be surprised if this one's still intact when the others aren't. Well, my word. A toasted drive board with F203 is actually good. Oh my god. Right, okay, well I've never seen that one before. That's okay, so F203, to be honest, is usually the one that gets toasted when the drive refuses to accept a disk. So if your disk feed stops working, F203 is usually the culprit, and again that's this little 0 ohm thing here. But that's good on our particular console, so that's fine. So that protects an input, looking at this, to where are we? Across here. So I presume it goes through these vias and to some of these pins somewhere on the driver IC. Again, similar sort of thing to be said for this. end component here. So they're all power they're all power related. So you know, basically this is cutting power to part of the circuit, as is this, as is 501. Which is down here, which looks like it's some protection for this BD-02685 4324. I don't know what that is, but judging by the fact that that's a BD series revision chip, as is this one, it's some sort of motor controller IC. It seems to have some sort of interface with this, so perhaps it controls the laser arm motion. So the thing that controls the laser moving up and down and back and forth, and this one controls the drive feed mechanism, is basically what my thinking is. So without 501 we're not going to have that, and obviously without 202 there, it looks like some functionality of this is going to be missing. So the thing is completely dead. Now in another machine, like I said, that laser ribbon connector on the motherboard is horrible. Having said that, this machine had been opened and the drive hadn't been installed correctly. So what we're going to do is we're going to replace these two fuses that are obviously knackered. And then we'll put it back in the original machine and we'll see what it does. If it still appears to be completely dead, then obviously we can look at something on the main board of that machine, mainly the ribbon connector, which I'm thinking is possibly duff. Yeah, so that may not be the best thing in the world, which may be stopping this thing from working, because in a donor machine the drive would power, the eject button would respond, and you could power it up using by presenting a disk to the drive, but of course it wouldn't feed it and it wouldn't do anything with it. So what we're going to do is we're going to replace F501 and F202. And once we've done that, what we'll do is we'll put it back in the original machine and we'll see if it works. If it works, fantastic, and we're done. If it doesn't, then obviously we'll put the drive back in a donor and we'll see what it does in the donor. If it seems to respond okay in the donor, I'm not expecting it to read and play disks. I'm expecting it to throw a 35888-2 ever in a donor machine. However, if we get that far, then we can probably start looking at the ribbon connector as a starting failing point on the original mainboard. But let's see what replacing those two fuses does for us. So we're going to need a donor board, hopefully with those two components intact on there. So first of all, then let's just start lifting bits and pieces off here. So the first one we're going to nick is 202. We'll get rid of 202. Just to confirm, this is the original board that we're interested in repairing. So let's see if we've got anything here. No, we don't. And 501 as well. Let's just make sure we're not going mental. 501 is incredibly rare to see blown. Yep, completely buggered. Okay, so those two are going to have to come off. So that is what we're going to do. So let's go do it. So where are we? Where are we? Oh, let's get ourselves some fume extraction. Ow. Let's get ourselves some hot air. Right. What we'll do is we'll secure this board to the desk so it doesn't go wandering while we try to remove the components we need, or we don't need anymore on this one. Just pop a bit of tape over there, hold it in place, lovely. So we are going to be really careful not to go near any connectors. Okay, that's 501. Disappeared. Let's see if we can get 501 from a donor. I'm just going to pop a little bit of flux onto there. Lovely jubbly. That's 501. So now we need to find a respectable working 502. After we've removed this one, of course. Okay, that's roughly in place as before. We're going to get a little bit of flux. Just tidy this up. There we go. Okay, so that is our two fuses replaced. So F202 and F501. Okay, let's move 501 back in view. It is. Okay, so that's those two fuses replaced. So what we'll do now is we'll make sure we still have what we need. So multimeter back into continuity mode. 501. I can hear now is good. We'll just test them all again, you know, should be absolutely fine now, but so 201 is good. 202, which of course we've replaced as well, is good. And 203, excellent. So all four of those now read continuity. They all beep at us. So what we're going to do now is we are going to pop this drive board back onto its original drive, and then we'll pop that back into its original chassis, and we'll see if we get any life out of it. Hopefully we will, and if we do, then we can call this one fixed, and we can call it a day. If it doesn't, however, then obviously we need to start looking a little bit deeper into the problems, and like I say, the board connector doesn't appear to be the best. So if of course that, you know, this doesn't work as we're expecting and the drive still appears completely dead, well, we know from putting it in a donor the drive isn't completely dead. The drive is actually working to a very, very basic level. You know, it does allow us to press the eject button and beep. It does allow us to offer a disk up to the machine to power it on. But obviously, you know, disk feed and everything wasn't working. So we know we've still got an issue, but the fact that it appears completely dead in the donor machine means that something, you know, a little bit deeper seated may be going on here, and that may be the reason for those blown fuses. But we're not really going to know until we get this thing back into the original chassis to test it. So that's what we're going to do now. So join us back in a second, boys and girls, when we have this drive back into its original chassis, and we'll see what it does. Right, okay then, ladies and gentlemen, so what we're going to do is we are going to attempt to offer a disk up to our machine and see if this now works. Now before, we couldn't actually get it to respond by offering the disk up and also by pressing the eject button. the machine actually had no response. So let's go and see what will happen when we do that. So the eject button is this little copper rectangular thing here. We're just going to press that and see if it beeps. We get 3 beeps, so we do have some sign of life. And next we're going to try and power the machine up. You'll notice the fan's not spinning, it is completely off, by offering up this this game disc here. It now feeds, which is certainly progress on before. So let's go up here to the TV. Now, what I will say is this: the shot you're looking at there on the PlayStation is actually of the bottom. So if the case was on the machine, then the actual, you'd be looking at the base, the actual bottom of the unit. So that's why the disc appeared to go in upside down, just in case you're wondering. So what we're going to do is we're just going to sync the controller to this machine. We're going to press the X button to load profile. Okie doke. So that's that. White noise. Okay, that's a theme I've never seen before. So what we're going to do is we're going to go along to our Advanced Warfighter icon. There it is. Let's press the X button. So it's detected the disc. And there we go. Well, fantastic. So there we go. That's all working again. So, what have we learnt there today then? So it's always important as a technician to actually do your own troubleshooting and fault finding first. Don't take things on face value from other people, whether it be customers or other technicians. You need to make sure that your own diagnosis is sound before you go down the rabbit hole to hell. Now, what we almost did by following the actual findings of the customer here, we would have done a Renesas swap onto a donor BDP-025 today. And although that would have worked, in the end, you know, replacing that chip, while be it when you're experienced enough is easy, if you're a beginner or, you know, you've not done it before, it can be a bit of a nightmare because those pins are very, very fine pitch and there's a lot of them. And you know, it's work you don't need to do for the sake of a couple of fuses. Now, of course, that would have also meant sourcing a donor drive board, which obviously, you know, I think they're about 10 quid to buy them. So, you know, again, you know, it's expense that you needn't spend to replace an issue that isn't there. So all we've done today is literally replace those 2 fuses, and that's absolutely fine. Now, what I suspect is that the connector on the motherboard end of the laser ribbon was actually, it's not brilliant. So I suspect what's happened is somebody's had it apart, they've kind of knackered the connector, they've put the cable in, and they've actually got some pins crossed and it's blown those couple of fuses. Now 501 down to that other BD, which I do believe is another little motor controller IC. I will check that, and if I can find a schematic diagram, I'll pop it in the link in the description for you below so you can see. But if that is what I suspect it is, and it does control the laser sled movement back and forth, then of course that would certainly explain how that got damaged. And obviously, you know, it's a spike, and current can do all sorts of weird and wonderful things, so it just happens to have taken out another one of the fuses on the board. So that's my theory behind it, without actually having looked too much in depth at it. So I think we may be worth replacing that motherboard connector, but for now, as you can see, it's certainly working, and working absolutely fine. So with this drive board, it's just a case of saying, look, you know, make sure you do your own diagnosis and make sure that you're happy with that diagnosis before you go wandering down a path you needn't go wandering. And like I say, Renesas swaps are fairly tricky, you know, unless you've done a lot of them and, you know, you're a really competent solder, they can be tricky. So, you know, why put yourself through it when you don't have to? For the sake of a couple of fuses being replaced, which most people can do, even with just basic soldering tools, to be honest, you know, that's a nice easy fix that we've had today. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for watching this one. Hopefully you've learned something there today, and as always, if you've any comments or questions, or you want to get in touch, then feel free to drop a comment in the box below and post it to the video so we can all see it and read it. And obviously, you know, I do my best to get back to these things as and when I can. If you have a machine of your own in need of repair, games consoles, Macbooks, anything of that nature, then feel free to drop me an email to my business email address. That's in the description below. YTAndrewPaul@outlook.com. You can hit me up there for any business related queries. So if you want to arrange a repair or get a quote on a repair, then feel free to drop me a message on there. If you have any questions about the video or questions in general, then like I say, the comments below, comments on the channel, or like I say, if I am on Twitter, my DM box is open to all. Just look me up on there at YTAndrewPaul, and obviously on there you can send me a DM for anything at all, really. Like I said, the outlook.com address is my business email address. I do appreciate it if you don't send general questions to there, purely because obviously when I'm trying to get back to customers and get quotes to potential customers and things like that, you know, it can become a little bit difficult trailing through, you know, 100 emails, and most of them are just questions. So it does make my life a little bit easier, guys and girls. If you can abide to that, that'd be very much appreciated. But yeah, as always, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video, hopefully in the not too distant future. You know, I think I've had a bit of a break this week because it's just been manic at home. But you know, like I said, we're back now, and I'm trying to keep these videos a little bit more regular. I'm trying to keep them sort of like, you know, get a video a week in at least, and I'll be happy. Or, you know, if we can more or less get to there, then that'll be cool. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, boys and girls. You've been fantastic as always, and it's thank you from me and thank you from this PlayStation for watching. And I will see you on the next video. So from me for now, it's bye bye. Many thanks for watching then, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you have, then why not check out these recommendations below. Also, please remember to comment, rate, and of course subscribe to the channel if you found this useful. We've plenty more content on there, and there's lots more to come.